on this side of the table, right here. This side of the table, on every table. All right, if you do not have a pen, there's a couple pens on the table. The vendors have lots of pens. We love about conferences. All right, so please flip it over to the wheel. We're going to do a quick analysis, get some data for you. On the top of the wheel, I want you to write this. I want you to write intentional. Please write intentional on top of your wheel. Now, I want you to think of the percentage that you are intentional in how you communicate. So every meeting you go into, how intentional are you of actually planning what you're doing? Be honest with yourself. What percentage are you actually being intentional with your communication? You can look at what someone else wrote. Perhaps you're better than them, perhaps not. All right, in the middle of your wheel, I want you to please write the number 5. Please write the number 5 in the middle of your wheel. On the outside of your wheel, please put the number 10. The reason we're giving you at least a 5 is because you would not still be here the second day of the conference if you were a 0. So I'm assuming that you're at least a 5. The first area, I just want you to draw a dot because you're going to be rating yourself in these areas, okay? So the first area is how much research do you actually do before you go into a situation? So when you listened to Dr. Padaman yesterday, he talked about the number 1 concern or challenge is getting budgets approved. So if you're trying to get a budget approved, how much research are you bringing in? How much evidence are you bringing in to these actual meetings or any one-on-one conversations? Please go ahead and rate yourself with research that you're currently doing on the situation and also on the people that you're interacting with. What is one tool we can use if you want to research a person? Thank you. Facebook. Sometimes you can find crazy stuff on Facebook. We can look at people's LinkedIn profile. You can research people on that. So before you go into a situation, you can actually know something about the person. How many people here are excited about your own LinkedIn profile? Anyone in here excited about what you have written? All right, so there's 5 of you out there that have something good. So if your LinkedIn profile does not actually sell who you are and show what value you can add to your company, I would suggest you actually change that so people start to see you differently. Okay, so right now, please rate yourself with the research that you currently do. The next area is how are you actually opening and closing different presentations? So what statistics could you use that would get people's attention? How much planning are you doing with this? Also, Dr. Padaman said that the majority of your time is actually doing all the different process and looking at all the research and doing all that, but there's very little strategic time that you spend. So how much more strategic time could you spend in how you actually open and close different presentations that you go into? So rate yourself, open and close, on a scale from 5 to 10. All right. Does anyone in here have a good example about how you actually open and close that works? This table, do you guys have anything good? Open and close, any examples? Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So actually making sure, and Carrie's going to come back and tell you this in a moment, but when you open and close, make sure you're using something that they will not forget. Okay, so making sure that you're staying connected with that. I want you to jump down to body language. Body language, I want you to write a 55%. Where it says body language, please write a 55. And then I want everyone to please stand. Yes, you were warned you actually have to interact in this one, so please stand. Thank you. Please take your arms and go like this. Thank you, and please let them fall where they actually would like to. All right, so this is the most confident way that, thank you for doing that. You just went like this. So if someone is standing like this, which people do stand like this, what does this say? Don't hit me, thank you. Hit me, whatever. But yeah, so where's the bathroom? Don't hit me. I play for the Timbers, whatever this says. So this is not as approachable as this, correct? If your hands are behind your back, what does that say? Yeah, I'm hiding something I'm not as confident. Studies show that people used to hide weapons behind their back. So people want to see the palms of our hands. That if you walk around in your company and you're like, hi, they're going to think you're absolutely nutty. Please do not do that. Now if your hands are crossed, what's going to happen with this? Thank you. We are closed off to people. Even if you're not closed, people think you are. And if you're trying to get people in your company to like you, get your budgets approved, connect with people, please do not stand like this. The most open way that you can stand is with your arms down, and also make sure that your face is happy. A lot of people think like, I smile all the time, and actually you do not. So right now I just want you to turn to one person, smile at them, and just give them feedback to say that looks much better than frown. So just look at one person. All right, thank you very much. Please be seated. All right, so for your current body language, what are you actually doing? How would you rate yourself on a scale from 5 to 10? I've been watching a lot of you at the conference. Some of you have done well. Some of you don't look very friendly or happy. So how would you rate yourself on a scale from 5 to 10? Next to tone of voice, I want you to write a 38. 38% of our communication is with the tone of voice. I was coaching a woman at Nike. I just gave this example at lunch. And I said, let's call your voicemail. And she said, okay. So I called her voicemail. How many people in here would want me to call your voicemail? Anyone in here? Anyone? Okay, I get a couple of you. So I called her voicemail. She's like, that woman sounds really, she used a different word, but that woman sounds really mean. And I know. So if your voicemail does not actually sound happy, people don't want to leave a message for you. So how are you using your tone of voice? Right? How are you using your tone of voice? What type of pace are you using? Are you boring people to death in meetings? Because if you are, it's your fault, right? So rate yourself on a scale from 5 to 10. What are you doing with your tone of voice? All right, words, you guys are smart people. We only have 7% left. How many people in here mainly use email? How many people mainly use email? All right, how many people think your emails are really effective at keeping people's attention? One person. Most people's emails are not read. What do you think the number one reason people do not read emails? Thank you. We don't have to have a quick 30-second conversation to use conference calls, and are they effective? All right, next time. How many people agreed at their table that conference calls are very effective? Please raise your hand. That's what I thought. Not very effective. Some of you are effective. Why are conference calls not effective overall? Exactly. You can't see the person. There's lack of engagement. What I love when people say about conference calls, like, we get so much done. We're so productive. And I said, well, that's because you're multitasking, right? I've seen you guys multitasking the conference. I'm walking around and you're like, hey, what's going on? I'm on a conference call. I'm like, yeah, you aren't even listening. So, but we do that, right? So how can you make your conference calls more effective? I coach my clients to bring in any type of like go-to meetings, any webcam, because when you see a person's face, they become real. If you send an email, people forget who you are, so we want to see your face. Think about how you can be more effective in your company. A lot of you work from your home office, and I've had this question come up a couple times. They say, does that mean I have to get dressed? And I said, well, I would hope so. I mean, I wouldn't want to look at that, but yes. So make sure, but find out a way that you can be more effective, because when you rate yourself on a scale from 5 to 10, you realize you're only working with 7%. The next area is PowerPoint. You were warned that I don't use PowerPoint. How many people in here feel that you're effective using PowerPoint? Let me just see effective people. I love how honest you guys are. Yeah, that's about 3%. I don't even need to do the research that Larry does. I can see it right here. About 3% of you are effective. Why does PowerPoint not work in a lot of situations? Why does it not work? Okay, it can be distracting, too many words. What else? Yeah. Thank you. How many people in here cannot read? Don't raise your hands, right? We can all read. So they read it to you. The worst is you have it, and I hope no one's done this. I apologize if I'm offending anyone. But you have the PowerPoint, and then you give them the entire handout. And then what happens? Then you read it, and no one's paying attention to you. And I know sometimes you do have to present facts like that. But I want you to think about how you use PowerPoints, rate yourself on a scale from 5 to 10, and how can you be more effective? I coach clients all the time. They have like 200 slides for 30 minutes. I'm like, no, 4 slides maybe. So how can you use more images, more graphs to actually express your ideas? Keep people excited. When you look at Facebook, it's all photos. You have to be more exciting than people's Facebook pages. We all know when people look under the table at their phone, right? So how can you be more exciting? Rate yourself on a scale from 5 to 10. The next area is props, and I'm going to have Justin, if we could get the mic to Justin. Justin, if you could please stand. So I like to go to the vendors and talk to them and ask them what props they use and how it keeps people's attention. So when I walked by Justin's booth, he got my attention. Justin, tell us what you do.
There we go. Yeah, you do have to get close. Thank you. Work as a IT security consultant. Currently consulting at Microsoft, and also board member of ISSA, Information System Security. Our booth is over there in the back corner.
This is not an advertisement. I want you to tell them what you do.
Oh, sorry, the shameless plug. All right, let's get to the goods here. So I have this lovely little red shopping cart for my toddler because he likes to shop just like the big people do.
Right.
And I put this little thing on here. The last thing you see before the hacker steals your credit card information. I have a little happy face down here with the tongue hanging out. And I just think that's, I thought it was pretty funny, and I'm big on props, and yeah. I really...
And also the locks. How many people saw the locks that he had set up when you walked by? Show of hands, how many people remember the locks that he said? Okay, so I would say 80% of the audience remember that, okay? So it's something memorable instead of, no offense to the other vendors who just have flyers, because it's not as memorable. So if you can bring props, we remember that. The shopping cart, everyone can see a shopping cart when you're checking out of Amazon, wherever you're checking out. And so it's a visual that we remember, right? I love it. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Nice job. Let's give him some appreciation. Thank you. All right, so currently what props are you using? I'm guessing a lot of you might not have ever used a prop. I have Intel using props. If Intel can use props, you can use props too. People remember them, and you can have a little bit more fun in your industry. You will keep people engaged. Please rate yourself 5 to 10. The last area is your personal appearance. So we have 7 seconds to make a first impression, right? So people look us up and down. I already said that. So what would you give yourself on your own personal appearance? But I also added attitude, because all right, this is the part where you're actually going to tell someone at the table. Studies show that if you actually verbalize things, you have a better chance of actually doing it. So tell someone at your table, say, I'm going to try, or I might, I'm going to do this differently. I'm going to have a different impact at my company. So go ahead and please tell someone at your table what you're going to do differently based on this assessment we just did on you. Please begin. One person, just go ahead and volunteer. This is the ultimate accountability because you're going to tell it in front of all these people. So we just say 3 examples of one change you're going to make and what you're going and how it's actually going to impact you. We have 3 volunteers. We've got one right there. Thank you very much.
My props are way down. I don't use any props at all. So evidently, I need to be throwing the carrots off in private.
Yes! I love it. You have fun energy. That's awesome. So using more props to be more energizing. Yeah, that's a new word. It's energizing and engaging. That's what you are. Good. All right, 2 more examples. One thing you're going to do differently and how it will impact you. I know it's scary. Just one. We need 2 people to volunteer.
All right, I was over here.
Okay, good. Now see, we call it instant inspiration.
Well, in my case, I believe that
generally I scored low on the PowerPoint stuff. That's we need to work on, I think, probably as a company as a whole, because there's a lot of templates we're required to use that, you know, it's like death by PowerPoint right into the system. So
Right. Yes, good. So if your entire company is boring everyone, right, then I would collaborate with your marketing department and say, how can we make these more engaging? There's so many studies out there that you could bring in as evidence. But yeah, change your entire culture. Why not? Why not be the person who gets people more engaged and excited? It can be you. Be fun. Good. And one more example. Carrie's got it back there. You hand the mic, they take it. I love it.
Mine is body language. I'm often told that I look frustrated or upset, but I'm actually just really focused and on task. So
Yes.
knowing that it's 55%, I don't want people to think I'm angry. I'm a nice person.
Right. Thank you.
But I get that feedback enough to where I know that I need to
Yes.
that I need to smile more. So yay.
You're just like, every day is happy. Good. How many people also get that feedback? People perceived you like something's wrong. A lot of people get that, and everyone's like, no, it's fine. But your face does not show that. Please take your fingers, go like this. Oh, you get it too. Oh, you have one more example. Carrie. Back there in the blue shirt. Will you raise your hand? Higher? Yeah, thank you. Oh, you are the example. Well, you don't look like it. You're happy and fun right now. But yeah, just to be aware of that. Thank you. So please take your fingers and go like this as hard as you possibly can so it hurts. Thank you. Put it right on your chin. Did you guys fall forward again? Yes, you did. I had a private class with them. All right, so this is your cheek. Right? It's your cheek. Yes, so this is your chin. Why, and some of you still have it on your cheek. You can release it now. Why did everyone put it on your cheek instead of your chin? You didn't know what you were talking about, Allison. Yeah. Or because we feed off people's body language. So I love that you're committed to doing that. Because when you're walking around your company and it looks like something's wrong, do you think your company might freak out? You're head of security. You're part of that. So really to be aware of what your face is saying. I became a master trainer with Dale Carnegie. Part of my coaching that I received was that sometimes I look intimidating to people because I'm so, like you, so focused on that. So to this day, 16 years later, it's a little bit longer, I still make sure that even like my eyes are raised, my eyebrows, because this does say a lot. You can do whatever you want back at your home, but when you're walking around in public, make sure that this looks at least presentable. Thank you. All right, so you first wrote that intentional percentage. When you just did this assessment on your own communication, would you agree with me that if you're a little bit more intentional about how you communicate, perhaps you could break through a couple of your barriers back at work? If you just did a little bit more research, a little bit more strategy into how you were dealing with people, you could be a little bit more successful. And that choice is up to you what you actually do with this. But I've been doing this for 20 years. I watch people change when you get excited about changing. Please flip the page over. So when Mike and Brad asked me to join the Secureworld tour, the last... Thank you. Yeah. We are masters at pretending how to listen, correct? We multitask. I have two kids, they're 12 and 14. I find myself, unfortunately, looking down at my phone sometimes saying, I'm listening, keep talking. And sometimes they call me out on it and say, you're not listening, Mom. I said, well, actually, you're right, I'm not. Because we multitask and we don't listen. These are 10 tips to make you more effective. I have some live human PowerPoints. We're going to bring these to life and give you an example for how we can actually do this. So number one, Carrie, this is our live PowerPoint.
me see if I understand what you want me to do here, which is restate words and messages.
Thank you. You just gave an example. Because sometimes you speak at such a high level, to restate what you actually do when you leave a situation or meeting will make you more effective. So just doing a quick recap. You can also do that in your emails. Next one. Number 7.
So ask open-ended questions. It's a great way to engage your audience and bring them into the message very quickly.
Thank you. Yeah, so quit talking so much and actually ask them questions to get the conversation going. What do people love to talk about more than anything in the entire world? Exactly. And what do you normally like to talk about more than anything in the world? Is yourself, correct? You get a group photo, who do you look at first? You're laughing as you do it. You look at yourself, you're like, that looks great. Yeah, let's take this up to the company vision. Right, that's super. But we have to start asking other people, get the other person talking and truly listen to what they're saying. Number 8.
Watch the audience and see if they're nodding off in their seat or their eyes are rolling and laughing their head.
Thank you. Good. When people are not engaged with you, it is obvious, and I'm always shocked that people never modify their message, ever. People's body is screaming the message. Also, you can watch people's feet. People's feet tell a lot. So I also coach people to remove yourself from, if you're going to use a lectern or a desk, come away from your desk because then the barrier is removed, and you can actually watch what people's body language is doing. If you start to train yourself on body language, you will be so much more effective. But so many times we're too wrapped up into technology and our own world. So watch what people are saying, and you'll connect differently. Good, next one.
You should always be patient with who you're talking to. Allow them to finish what they're saying. They'll help demonstrate that you're actually listening to them.
Thank you. I like how some people are laughing at that one because it's hard to be patient, right? It's very hard. And what I've learned from this space is that a lot of you say, well, I already know what the answer is. I know exactly what to tell them. But then you cut them off. Has anyone in here ever been cut off before? Yeah. Do you remember the person who cut you off? We never will forget that person. So be respectful to people. Be more patient. I have to work on this all the time with my kids as well. Yes. How many people in here have children? And how many people have been a child? All right. Yes, we all can relate to that. But yeah, patience is something that we can work on at home that will also carry into work. Good. And the last one. Yes.
Remind yourself that time and attention to others is important. Believe it or not, you might figure out you can know a lot more than you do.
Good, thank you. So remind yourself, now this might seem easy, like, yeah, whatever, Allison came in and told us how to listen. But I guarantee you that if you can be a good listener, you will be unique. You believe me? You believe me? Because so many people are not good listeners. I find myself even with my girls when we watch a movie. I'm more into the movie than I am my own human children. I feel like so many people are not really engaged with humans basic, I want you to draw a three-dimensional house right now, very quickly. Just a quick three-dimensional house. All right, that's time. How many people, that was a little bit uncomfortable to draw the other type of house, the cube? I hate drawing cubes. Yeah, because when you look at that house, tell the people at your table when you first started drawing that house. The first house that you drew, tell the people at your table how old were you? You're kindergarten, right? We're about 4 or 5. So if you think about all the habits that we have, all the way that we communicate, it started at a very young age. It's going to take time and attention to actually change the way you communicate. But I say, why not have fun? Be the person who spices up the PowerPoint at Microsoft. Be the person who brings more fun to your office, because life is short and we need to enjoy it. Thank you very much for participating, for playing. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Allison Clark, thank you very much. Every single one of us can take something away from what was presented today.